So last night and this morning I put a bit of time into Helldivers 2 on PC, and I thought it might be worth putting out a quick first impressions video for anyone thinking of picking this up. Helldivers 2 is a co-op third-person shooter developed by HELLDIVERS Studio and published by PlayStation. It's available on PlayStation 5 and PC through Steam, and is pretty much the Starship Troopers game we've always wanted.
Join the Helldivers. Become part of an elite peacekeeping force. See exotic new life forms. And spread managed democracy throughout the galaxy. Become a hero. Become a legend. Become a Helldiver.
The game doesn't really have a solid campaign to play through, any kind of story mode, but it does have a galactic community-wide war against the Terminids and the Automatons. The Terminids are bug-like creatures, think Starship Troopers, and the Automatons are more your stereotypical robots, cyborgs, big guns coming to kill you. Both of these armies feel very different to fight against, but I really enjoyed fighting against the bugs. Again, they brought back that Starship Troopers fantasy from the first time I saw the films. So when we start off the game, we are introduced to it through a tutorial where you have to earn your cape, a sign of a true Helldiver. This takes you through everything you need to know, from moving, crouching, diving, shooting. An interesting note on shooting: it's not just about how good your aim is as a player, it's about how stable your movement is in-game. You'll notice on your reticle, you have a dot where you're pointing and a circle that lags behind. That's where the bullets are going. That way, the heavier the gun, the more the sway. And the more you move, the less stable your aim. I actually quite like this. It adds a feeling of realism almost to the shooting. During the tutorial, you also get to play with some stratagems. These are things you can call upon in-game to give you an extra hand. Things like airstrikes, or maybe calling down an LMG or a heavy weapon, something like that. When we finally finish the tutorial, you earn your cape and you are sent off to join the war. I know the cape is the sign of the Helldiver, but I kind of think the armor looks better without it, but hey, I won't judge, we'll just roll with the cape. Once you are done with your training, you get sent off and you get to name your own ship, which I like that, that's pretty cool. And we get to go on our first mission. For my first mission, I was sent to an ice world where I had to fix a pump station. At first, to be honest, I found this a little bit confusing. When you get there, you have to interact with a terminal, and from there, it didn't really give me much to work with. It turns out I had to turn the handles on these pumps here, which initially I thought were explosive barrels I could shoot. So once I did those three, went back, turned it on, everything was good. Then I went and extracted. This was a pretty quick mission, and you could tell by the way the puzzle was designed for the pump station that this had co-op in mind. So I had the option while I was at the panel to call out specific things. I imagine in game, if you were with other players, you'd be able to call out where to go and the other players would go there and interact with it while you were still at the station. But solo, I had to leave the panel, go off and find what I was supposed to play with, then come back to the panel. During all of this, of course, I was being attacked by the bugs as well, so you'd usually have somebody doing the panels, somebody doing the puzzle, and somebody else defending the area. Not to say you can't do this solo, but you can feel there was definitely co-op in mind when this mission was designed. I do find the stratagems really interesting. These are designed in a way where you have to use the direction keys to put in a code before you can use it. And I imagine if you were in a really tense situation with a lot of enemies kind of bearing down on you, this would be a bit of a panic to get this code in, and I imagine as you go through the game, the more powerful stratagems will have longer codes. Once I'd sorted the pumps, I went to extract, then you do actually have a last stand moment. You get swarmed where you have to wait 2 minutes for the extraction. When extraction arrives, he does so with a strafing run, bombing the bugs as he goes. You hop on, and mission over, you go straight back to your ship. Up here, I did have a chance to play around with my armor, some of my gear, and this was when I had my first hard crash. A bit annoying, crashed all the way to desktop, but whatever, we'll boot the game back up. After that first mission, I did get the vibe things were supposed to be done co-op, so I thought I would try quick play or matchmaking, something like that, and it just didn't work. It took quite a while for me to get into a game to begin with, then it kept disconnecting, then it wouldn't connect to any games at all. This was a shame, so I just kept going solo. During all this, I was also introduced to the in-game store that hovers right in the center at the top of the screen, labeled Acquisitions. In here, you can buy super credits and spend these credits on various armor. Now, I am a little concerned because these do seem to have stats connected to them. If they're nothing special, that's fair enough. However, if they start introducing things into the store that do have stats past what you can earn in game, that starts to land on rocky territory. You need to be careful with that. I did also check out the War Bond, which is the Helldivers 2 equivalent of a battle pass. These seem fair. There's a free track and a premium track. As you play the game, you earn medals, and then you spend these medals at the different tiers of the War Bond. You'd have to spend a certain amount, 8 in the first for example, before we can move on to the next section, so you have to play the game to earn the rewards. This all seems fine to me. Again, as long as nothing pay to win goes in the premium pass, I don't see a problem here. So I went on to my next mission. This took me back down to the ice planet. I want to call it Heth. I know it sounds like Hoth, but not Hoth. Heth? Heth. Let's go with Heth. And here we had to kill 2 large bugs, kind of like 2 bosses on different parts of the map. I actually found this part pretty tough. Again, it might go back to the game being designed more with co-op in mind, but I found them pretty hard to kill. I died quite a few times on this particular mission, and this was only on easy from what I could tell. But it was actually a lot of fun. The heavy weapon, the LMG, really helped me out here, plus the airstrikes, so it shows the stratagems really are worth taking into consideration. This mission did take me a while, but I did manage to do it, and I extracted, which was, again, it was really good fun. I did enjoy this. It gives you that kind of panicked, all is lost moment, last stand. Yeah, that's where this game's going to shine. After the mission, I got back to my ship and I thought I want to check out a different environment. So for the 3rd mission, I had another hard crash. Fair enough, I've been warned this has been happening early days, same with the matchmaking problem. So I booted the game back up and started the next mission. This time I headed to a completely different planet, which had more of a hazardous, toxic atmosphere. During this mission, which was still infested with bugs, I had to land and take control of a propaganda outpost. This again gave me that co-op vibe. I had to complete a puzzle to take over the propaganda broadcast, but this required me to stare at the console for quite a while, which made it tricky to defend the area. I think you would need at least 2 people, 1 to do the puzzle and 1 to actually defend the area, especially as the time ticks on and the planets become more hostile with a higher enemy presence. So playing Helldivers 2, I did have a lot of fun with this, but I'm not too sure how the longevity of the game would feel for a solo player. This is something that's definitely best experienced with friends. I'm actually going to jump back in with a couple of people, maybe get a group together, and see how it feels as a larger group, where everyone can bring a different weapon, different stratagems, and tie it all together into one unit. I do think that would be a lot more fun, and I'm also curious to see if the enemy density increases as the number of players in game increases. But this is definitely a game I'm going to continue to play, especially with some friends. Have you tried Helldivers 2 yet? What do you think? Would you like to see a full review of this game in the future? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any future uploads or streams. If you'd like to support the channel, you can do so over on Patreon or become a channel member. You'll find links for those in the description below. Have a great day, and I'll catch you in the next one.